When we're looking at the built environment, as I was very well aware when we were investing in real estate, contributes, depending on what geography you're in, to about 40% of all carbon emissions worldwide.
Talking about like your new adventure, my feeling is like it's a sort of evolution from the first part of your career, and I think possibly during the process, lesson learned and the experience that you gain, maybe I believe that this is like a spontaneous process that brought you to have this new chapter. Which is called Undivided Ventures.
Undivided Ventures,
Yep.
That's right. And it definitely wasn't spontaneous. I think that it was something that I was thinking about for a very long time. I think that when we're looking at the built environment, as I was very well aware when we were investing in real estate, contributes, depending on what geography you're in, to about 40% of all carbon emissions worldwide. And so when at District 15, we were always very conscious of how that was affecting our own assets. I think back in the day, a lot of investors weren't particularly interested in how to decarbonize their real estate, or didn't know how to do it. But in today's day and age, you have no choice. That you have to look at how to decarbonize, not just from a consumer perspective, but also from an insurance financing perspective as well. So there are a lot of different drivers. So when I looked at how I could have the greatest impact, if I just stuck with our own portfolio at District 15, the impact would have been quite small. But how it could have a great impact is to actually invest in businesses that are solving for sustainability in the built environment. And these businesses could then actually have much wider impact on much bigger portfolios than mine.
Okay. So when we talk about sustainability, I think and I agree, if we can just focus on only some part of it. And the decarbonizing topic, I think, is very wide. It can be approached from different perspectives. Like in my case, I always really try to understand how a new development, like larger or smaller, can be insert in an existing situation. If we're talking about urban environment, but even like sustainable living, where do you locate yourself? How do you relate yourself to towards public transport or other possible destination?
Definitely. No, you're absolutely right. There's so many parts to how to get to net zero, right? How do we as a community? And when you're talking about, let's look at decarbonization, you can't just have one building that's decarbonized and everything else around you is not, right? We should be looking at sustainability and approaching it from a neighborhood perspective, just like we did with community in any real estate investment. There are many, many parts. What I'm trying to do is I'm investing in part of that puzzle. So we're investing in technologies that can help either decarbonize or can help with new types of materials that can go into buildings, et cetera, et cetera. Design plays a hugely important part in that, because as you quite rightly said, how a building is positioned and how it's designed has a big impact on how much energy it produces.
I think it can be applied really practically every part and component of a city. The street design, the frontage design, the building design, passive design.
Yeah.
And of course, probably the technology is going to be a huge impact in all of this if used in the right way.
Yeah,
really
because the question is also how do you design today, right? How do we all design? When you're designing something, you don't necessarily know what the real-time impact is on your design as far as carbon output goes. If you're designing in Vietnam, for example, it's going to be very different than if you're designing in Hong Kong. So, I think software that can help designers with that approach is one example of the way that we can utilize different innovations to again design better buildings.
Yes, totally. Well, it sounds like a very exciting new chapter, which is just started 4 months ago.
About 4 months, yeah, exactly.
Are you already active, or you really?
No, so we've already invested in 3 companies, and we are now going out and raising capital to raise a fund to invest in many more companies. And at the moment, if you're looking at where the best companies are today, it's actually mostly what we're finding is in Europe. So Europe is certainly ahead of the curve as far as sustainability is concerned. But ultimately, I think Asia, in the fullness of time, is going to be the area in the world that needs the most help. I mean, you look at the huge heating crisis that you've got in India right now, and all the floods that we're seeing in China. So I think that the biggest opportunity for impact is definitely in Asia. But today, as we're looking at technology, it's the best tech is coming from the place with the most regulation, which at the moment is Europe. Yeah.